Picture this. It's a Tuesday night, you're just kind of doom scrolling through social media, and you catch yourself wondering why everyone else seems, well, so much happier. Let's fix that right now. Welcome to This Explainer, where our goal is to turn the complex fog of human happiness into total clarity. And I promise you, absolutely no sociology degree or science genius IQ is required for this. Today, we're taking a fascinating look under the hood at the hidden mechanics of human well-being. We're going to explore the whole shebang, from societal architecture all the way down to the firing neurons in your brain.
But first, we really have to address the elephant in the room. How exactly does a country with brutal, sub-zero winters, super short summers, a massive 1,300-kilometer border with Russia, and historically high rates of alcohol reliance manage to be ranked the #1 happiest nation on Earth for 8 years running? I mean, it seems entirely counterintuitive, doesn't it? Especially when you look at major economic powerhouses with massive per capita GDPs, places like the United States or Germany, which consistently lag far behind in these rankings, all while struggling with record rates of youth anxiety. So, what do they know that the rest of the world doesn't?
Let's dive right into Section 1, the Finnish happiness paradox.
To really understand this paradox, we have to deconstruct a major psychological trap. When we hear the word happiness, our minds immediately jump to laughing, smiling, and just this state of constant, bubbling positivity. Ancient philosophers called this hedonia, instant pleasure. But here's the thing. Global happiness surveys aren't measuring how many jokes you laughed at today. They are measuring something far deeper, called eudaimonia. Think of this as evaluative life satisfaction and structural balance measured on a scale from 0 to 10.
And that brings us to this incredibly important number. Finland leads the world with an average score of 7.7 out of 10. They aren't taking the top spot because they are constantly grinning from ear to ear in the freezing snow. No way. They score a 7.7 because their fundamental social conditions meticulously eliminate baseline anxiety. They've built an environment that fosters eudaimonia over hedonia.
Moving right along to Section 2, the cultural bridge and mindset.
Because look, even with a great society, you still have to mentally navigate those harsh winters, right? The environment shapes the culture, and the culture shapes the mind. And let's be totally honest, the reality of those winters is tough. Heavy alcohol consumption is common enough that the culture actually created a dedicated word for drinking alone at home in your underwear. Kalsara Kennet. It's a bit funny, but it acknowledges a very stoic thermal layer-wearing Finnish reality. But while they might cope with the darkness in unique ways, their true core strength lies in a completely different concept.
That secret strength is called sisu. Sisu is an intrinsic cultural mindset. Basically, it's a psychological combination of stoic perseverance, incredible resilience, and a quiet tenacity. When the winter brings relentless cold, a mindset built on sisu doesn't complain. It just accepts the harsh realities of the world and adapts. It puts on more thermal layers. This attitude acts like an emotional fortress, stopping external pressures and harsh weather from crushing their baseline contentment.
Which brings us to Section 3, trust and social design.
Let's see how this actually builds into their societal architecture. Researchers at Aalto University point out a very stark reality. Governments absolutely cannot hand out happiness, but they can construct the environmental conditions where contentment flourishes naturally. Finland leads globally by focusing on 3 specific pillars. Step 1 is interpersonal trust. Citizens genuinely trust their neighbors. Step 2 is institutional integrity. Finland actually maintains the second lowest corruption levels in the entire world. And Step 3 is equitable safety nets. We're talking things like guaranteed, hassle-free childcare starting at age 1, or equalizing maternity packages given to every single new parent. These safety nets mean that even low-income citizens retain the exact same agency and freedom as the wealthy. They completely remove that constant underlying fear of financial ruin that plagues so many other nations.
Real quick, if you are finding this breakdown of human behavior valuable, take a quick second, hit that like button, and subscribe. It really helps our curious community grow. Now, looking at education, it's the ultimate equalizer. Every Finnish child attends the exact same comprehensive school system for 9 years. Inside the classroom, multi-professional teams of educators and psychologists are just standard. Needing extra help? Zero stigma. It's just treated as normal human development. Add in free nutritious meals and learning materials, and background barriers basically just vanish. When you minimize early social stratification this effectively, national cohesion goes up and youth anxiety plummets.
Another massive environmental factor is the healing power of nature. Get this, a staggering 97% of Finns report that spending time in nature directly makes them happy. Finland is 70% forest land, packed with over 188,000 lakes. Under the legal everyman's right, anyone can roam, hike, and forage freely across almost any natural land. Long-term medical studies confirm this isn't just a nice perk. Regular immersion in nature acts as a literal physiological shield, significantly reducing clinical risks for depression, high blood pressure, and respiratory illnesses. It's a totally accessible, non-monetized anchor of mental stability.
Okay, let's zoom in a bit more in Section 4, the biological reality.
Sociology eventually meets hard science, so let's zoom all the way down to the brain. Think of renowned sociologist Eric Arlert's matrix as an insider secret to human well-being. He categorized happiness prerequisites into 3 buckets: have for material needs and security, love for social connections and community, and B for self-actualization and meaningful work. The reason high GDP nations often fail on happiness metrics is because they massively over-index on the material haves while completely starving their populations in the love and B categories. And this brilliantly illustrates the brain's biological drivers behind those needs. When you feel a sense of contentment from a balanced life, an EEG will show a distinct surge of alpha waves in your prefrontal cortex. That is driven by this amazing chemical cocktail: serotonin regulating your baseline mood, dopamine driving your motivation, oxytocin fostering that crucial societal trust and bonding, and endorphins providing stress relief. The really amazing thing? You can actually train these neuroplastic changes by intentionally practicing gratitude, focusing on positive memories, or entering flow states where you become completely absorbed in a hobby or task. Now, some of you might be asking, isn't happiness just genetic? Well, breakthrough twin studies reveal a 40% behavioral genetics rule. So, about 40% of your happiness variance is indeed determined by your DNA. It's kind of like inheriting athletic talent for running fast. But that means a massive 60% of your well-being is entirely trainable. There is no specific Finnish happiness gene. The rest comes down to environmental design, strong social habits, and cognitive reframing. You absolutely have the power to shape the majority of your mental destiny. Let's pull this all together in Section 5, the 5-point dashboard.
To wrap up our macro to micro journey today, let's summarize everything into a daily dashboard. This is how you take all these insights and turn them into practical steps for your daily life. And remember, you absolutely do not need to pack up and move to Finland to apply these principles. First, target eudaimonia. Focus on that evaluative life balance and avoid the trap of just chasing instant fleeting thrills. Second, actively build out your love and B pillars. Prioritize community and meaningful hobbies over just accumulating material wealth. Third, cultivate your own daily rituals to escape external pressure, whether that's hitting the gym, singing karaoke, or just relaxing with a good book. Fourth, reconnect regularly with natural environments to trigger that physiological shield we talked about. And fifth, train your brain's alpha waves through intentional positive reflection and deep immersion in flow state activities. Ultimately, happiness isn't the absence of problems, it's building the resilience to navigate them.
So, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. Out of everything we've looked at today, the societal safety nets, the social trust, the Sisu mindset, which factor do you think impacts your personal happiness the most? Is it your environment, your community, or your mindset? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I really love reading through your different perspectives. If this explainer gave you a fresh perspective on human psychology, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who could use a boost today. Stay curious, stay resilient, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.